Hello, and welcome to a new series for the Camden channel. You can see my face, I don't know what to do with my hand. We're off to a flying start. As you can see, it's very dark. It is about 5 to 1 in the morning of the 11th of April 2025. And I've decided to join the completionist bandwagon. Along the lines of my friend Lucy, who does a series called Routing Through, currently in Greater Manchester. And I've decided to do something a little bit more niche. Welcome to By Night. So, what is By Night? And why am I at a bus stop in Acton? Truck. Yeah, what is By Night, and why am I at a bus stop in Acton at 1 in the morning? Well, By Night is similar format to Routing Through, if you will. But I'm looking specifically at night buses, because I think night buses are very interesting and they're quite fun. And they're not only fun from an enthusiast perspective, they're also quite important for any city that wants to have good nightlife. Checking for people. So we're starting on my local night bus, which is the N266, which runs from Hammersmith through to Brent Cross, finding it lighting. You know, I'll go back to the there. That's pretty good, actually. So yeah, my bus is coming from that way. That's why I'm looking over there. So the night buses in London, there's two distinct networks of overnight bus services in London. There's the dedicated night services that all start with N. And then there's the 24-hour daytime routes that don't. They're just daytime routes that happen to run all through the night. And by night, we're going to cover both of those. Pretty much any bus route that has a continuous service between about midnight and 5 a.m. Is going to be here. And naturally, I live in London. It's going to be covering Greater London, which is going to be quite a challenge. That's not my bus, that's a car. It's quite hard to see when things are coming at this time, because, you know, it's dark. And my arm's getting tired. How does Lucy do this? So, yeah. So the night buses in London, there's two networks. There's the N prefix dedicated night routes, and then there's the 24-hour daytime services that are just daytime services. The N routes, so the N routes, their number is derived from the equivalent daytime service. So the N266 is the nighttime version of the 266. And the reason why they're different is because the N266 has a small extension from Acton down to Hammersmith. And this is common with a lot of the N prefix routes, in fact all of them, that they are extended or changed in some way versus their daytime counterpart to make use of lower traffic conditions or to make them more useful for overnight use. I'll address what's different about every N prefix route as we get to it, but tonight the plan is that I'll get the N266 all the way up to Brent Cross. Then I'll make my way over to the A41. I think it's still the A41 at that point. It might even be the A1. But where the N113 goes, and then we're going to get the N113 over to Edgware, and then either the N32 or the N5, whichever I think is going to be more fun, to string something onto later in the morning. So, without further ado, I will go and get on the N266. The first route of By Night.
266 to Brent Cross Shopping Centre.
So, we're now on the M266. We're just coming up to Cricklewood Broadway now, and we're on VMH 2435, which is a Volvo B5LH with MCD Evo City bodywork, which is pretty standard fare for the route. And the N266 is a short extension of the daytime 266 from Acton through Acton Vale down to Hammersmith. And between Acton and Brent Cross it follows turn for turn, stop for stop, the regular daytime 266, which runs through Acton Town, or Acton Town Centre, North Acton. That's the destination lines. Runs through Acton Town Centre, North Acton, past Willesden Junction Station, through Harlesden, through Willesden, and now we're just coming up to Cricklewood Broadway, where we'll be until Staples Corner, where we turn off into Brent Cross Shopping Centre. So it's a fairly useful route actually. Not one that you'd expect to be a dedicated night bus, but I believe the reason why it's a dedicated night bus is because the 266 doesn't run to Hammersmith. They cut it back a few years ago to Acton Town Centre. During the day, the section between Acton Town During the day, the section between Acton Town Centre and Hammersmith was replaced by the 218, which takes a more circuitous route from North Acton down to Acton Town Centre, but then follows the old route of the 266 and the current route of the N266, turn for turn, stop for stop. And then at night, they put in the N266, and it's a very useful route. We have a very fast driver tonight. I'm not used to the N266 being this fast. So, I have made it to Brent Cross. There's my bus, just over there, and parked up. I saw as we came in, you don't know if you'll be able to see it, probably not, because it's dark. It's like, you know, a feature of nighttime. It's dark. Is a B90L Gemini 2, which occasionally have been known to slip onto the 266 and the N266, although it is somewhat rare as the route is contracted for hybrids. The shopping centre, I think it goes without saying, is closed at this time. It's about 1:30 in the morning. The shopping centre bus station gets 2 bus routes overnight. Compare that with I don't know how many during the day, like loads. It gets the N266 and then the 189, which is one of those 24-hour daytime routes I was talking about at the start of the video. Maybe I should make sure this is pointing at my face. What I'm doing now, though, is I'm walking over to the A41 to get the N113. It's not a very well-known connection, I don't think, but it's not that hard. As much of a car-dependent hellscape as the Brent Cross area is, this walk is relatively easy. So I've just crossed away from the bus station, which is over there. There we go. And now I'm going out to the A41, which is over there. And there's a pedestrian. There's like a tiny little pavement sidewalk thing down here that I'm walking on. That's my hand. There we go. And then after the little sidewalk thing at this road junction, there's a little dedicated walkway to get you up the rest of the way to the A41, which is very handy indeed. I've used this a couple times now, coming back from central London on the N113 to change onto the N266, but this is the first time I've done it to go from the N266 to the N113. So, you know, a couple firsts. Well, there's our first of the series. There'll be more as we go along, because as much as I do love a night bus bash, I've not done as much of the network as perhaps some might presume. So, I have made it to the stop. This is the Prince Charles Drive stop for northbound buses 113 and N113 on the A41. It's on Little Slip Road. There we are, Little Slip Road. A41, Little Slip Road. A41, Little Slip Road. Now the 113 is run from Edgware, and it's actually run in a somewhat old-fashioned way that I've recently changed the 20 to for national, or that I'm that I alluded to in the Thursday's episode of West Scotland on City Bus Manager, which is that the 20 will run from the Cumbernauld garage, and sort of the first buses will all be from Cumbernauld, and there'll only be like one dead run that starts from Glasgow, and then, you know, all the buses will go back except for maybe one or two that run dead from Glasgow. Every bus will come back to Cumbernauld in service. The 113 and N113 do that almost exactly. So the 113 finishes at a relatively normal time from Edgware, but then it finishes from Marble Arch quite late, while the N113 starts from starts quite late from Central, and the bus that I'm getting from here is the 202 to Edgware on the N113, and it is actually the first N113 of the night, leaving Marble Arch. Oh, there's more light over here. If I just face this way, I can get more light, preferably without my hand in the frame. So the N113 is a very, very short extension of the 113, from Marble Arch down, I don't think it's down Park Lane, I think it's down, it might be down Park Lane, I'm actually not entirely sure, like where it goes, but it's a short extension of the 113 from Marble Arch down to Trafalgar Square, which just makes it a little bit more useful for nighttime ridership, because Trafalgar Square, as this series will certainly get to many, many times, is kind of like Civic, is kind of like central London's bus station overnight. You think Trafalgar Square gets a lot of buses during the day? At night, Trafalgar Square is truly something else. There's buses going every which way. You can go from Edgware to Sutton and only have to change once at Trafalgar Square. It's really, really cool. Just another reason why night buses are good. So, now I'm on the N113. We're just coming up the A41 now, which is very nice. It's a good fast run. This route is now operated, as you can see, with some lovely Future Bus spec Wright street deck electroliners, new in 2023 or 2024. They're on 23 plates, but I believe there were some delays getting them in service. This is operated by Metro Line London, as the N266 was. I didn't say that. And I did some looking while I was waiting. The N266, no, the N113, this one. See?
Edgware Station.
When it gets into central London, it doesn't go along the 113 all the way into Marble Arch. It diverts from that route at Oxford Street, goes along Oxford Street until Oxford Circus. Then it goes down to Piccadilly Circus and into Trafalgar Square, the way a lot of night buses do. You know, through Oxford Circus and Piccadilly Circus. I do like this route. It's one of my favourite night routes in London, and to clear it on episode 1 feels kind of a shame. But, you know, I've actually not done it north of Brent Cross, so at least certainly not in this direction north of Brent Cross. But we are at Five Ways Corner now, which is, I believe, the junction with the A1. I stand to be corrected on that. And I am now at Edgware. It's very quiet, but you know, that's another feature of the overnight period. It is about 2:30 now. There's a lot of buses parked up, and I think I'm going to get the... Actually, I'm still not decided about whether I'll get the N5 or the N32. So, we'll see. So, I've arrived at Edgware, and what do I see at the back of this row of buses parked up but a quite rare type? Here it looks like a Boris bus, but you might be able to tell it's a bit shorter and it's not got a rear door. This is a Volvo B5LH Wright SRM. Only 8 vehicles of the type were made, and 2 of them were B5LHC, which is a slight variation of the B5LH, and they were prototypes for Go-Ahead, which have since been scrapped. So there are only 6 of their type left in London now. They're all with First Bus London, and it looks like this one was on 79s earlier today. They're normally found on the H12, sometimes the 340, sometimes the 79. So that's nice to see. I'm going to get the N5 from here down to Euston. And now I'm on ADH 45027. Part of First London now, on the N5, which runs from Edgware through Hendon, Golders Green. I actually am not too familiar with this route, but broadly through Hendon, Golders Green, then down through Hampstead and Camden Town to Trafalgar Square. Everything goes to Trafalgar Square. It's London at night. I've not seen one of these on the N5. First seem to have gotten the allocations. First seem to have gotten the allocations slightly different to how RATP had them. Because I've never seen a classic Enviro 400 hybrid on the N5. Not that it's unpleasant. I do like these buses. But normally it is an MMC. Well, we are literally just coming out of Edgware now.
Whitchurch Lane.
Very nice. let's get some B-roll of the route and I will see you at Euston. Actually, hold that thought.
N5 to
The N5 does not have a daytime counterpart. It's one of very few night buses in London that does not have a daytime counterpart along a similar route with the same number. Oh dear me. The daytime route 5 in London runs from Canning Town to Romford Market, which is in a completely different part of town to the N5, which runs from northwest to central. The daytime 5 runs from east to even further east. So I'm curious as to where the N5 gets its number from, because sometimes the night buses, where they don't have a daytime counterpart, like the N5 and the N20, and more recently the N271, get their numbers from a former daytime counterpart. So I almost wonder if the N5, or if the 5 used to run up this way. Okay, now we'll get some B-roll.
Hampstead Way. Whitestone Pond, Jackstraw's Castle. Camden Gardens. Camden Town Station.
As my bus goes off, I'm getting hands in my camera. I am now in Euston, which is where I'm picking up my next bus, which will be the N205. which is a relatively recent addition, or the 205 as a whole is a relatively recent addition to the bus network. It is formed from the northern half of an old central London circular bus route called the Station Link, which at one point I think was the 505, it might have been the 555, and then became the SL1 and SL2. Yes, SL1 and SL2 meant Station Link back in the day. It was split into the 205 and the 705. The 705 has been lost to time. That was run back in the day, I believe, with Opteric cells or something, by Thorpe's. And it was a limited stop service, hence the 7. LT, or LRT at the time, were keeping the old Green Line Express convention, which was very nice. But the 205 was the northern half, running from Paddington to Liverpool Street, or I believe London Bridge maybe in the early days. And that one did a lot better than the 705. So much so that they kept extending the 205, and now it reaches Bow during the day, and overnight they extend it as the N205 out from Bow through to Stratford and Leyton. There's an N91 and an N20 happening over there. We will be getting around to those later in the series, but for now, I'm waiting for the N205 at Euston.
King's Cross Station. King's Cross Road.
So, you join me on Stagecoach London's 12322 on the N205, which I alluded to the fact that it was a more recent addition to the network, including the daytime 205 at Euston, but I didn't say how recent it was. And well, the Station Link was withdrawn I think in the early 1990s, and then the 705 and 205 came in as their replacements. So it would have been sometime in the early 1990s that the daytime 205 came in, and I'm not sure at what point the N205 joined the network. Either at that time or slightly after it. Yeah, the bus vibrating is doing some weird things to my camera. That's odd and not entirely pleasant. We're just coming through Angel now, and I'm on this to Stratford City bus station, where we'll get on to our, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th and final route of the episode, the 108. So I will see you at Stratford.
station. For your safety, please cross the cycle lane with caution. Marshgate Lane.
And I've made it to Stratford. There is the N205 that I just got off. And now I'm going over for the final bus of the episode, which is going to be the 108. Yes, that's the 108. A route that's already featured on this channel. I made a video of the full run of this route from, actually I think just between the International Station and Stratford City Bus Station, which is where we are now. I made a video from just between there to pretty much Lewisham. Might have been like, you know, not quite the very end, but basically the full run of the 108 from Stratford to Lewisham, back when it was using some Sataros, which were lovely buses. Now we don't have a run on the Old Guard. The Old Guard are all gone. We have one of the newbies. Speaking of newbie, there is a Vibco coach. They're an upstart, providing coach services between London and Stansted Airport, which is very good. I didn't realise there was room for another competitor on that run, given how many coaches do it with National Express. But apparently there is room for competition on the London to Stansted run. Speaking of, there it is. They do sound very nice. I might have to give that a go someday. But I'm just walking over Stratford International Station now. I can't raise it enough so you can see it clearly. But yeah, I'm on top of Stratford International Station now. Just walking over to get the 108. I hope I've not gone too far, actually. I can't quite remember if it was that turning or this one that I'm just coming up to now for the start of the 108. I think it's this one. Yeah, there's Stratford International Station just down there. Way overbuilt because they planned to run Eurostar services to it, but Eurostar decided that they weren't interested in bringing their 800-ton trains up to 140 miles an hour and back down again for a 7-minute run. Which, you know what, fair. Oh my god, there's another FL1. How many of these things are there? I think they're quite smart buses, actually. Well, they're not buses, they're coaches, but I think they're very smart. The green suits them. It's very Flixbus. Part of me wonders if they are a Flixbus subsidiary. Because that green is very Flixbus. But I can't even see what we have on stand. That's how early we are for this bus. I think we missed one by like a couple minutes. But yes, what do we have on the 108? We have the new school on the 108. We will have a BYD D9UR with ADL Enviro 200 EV bodywork, which is not... Ooh. which is not the new style that ADL have now, because that's all integral. It is basically an Enviro 200 MMC with a hat. I think they look pretty sweet. And Lucy pointed out in her video that she did on the 108 that the Citaros that were on the 108 came from the 507-521, and the BYDs that have replaced them on the 108 replaced them on the 507-521. So, you know, it's almost like they're being chased. But I think that's a fun little tidbit that, you know, lightning does strike twice if you are a Mercedes-Benz Citaro operated by Go Ahead London. And we're on the 108. I didn't get the fleet number. This thing just pulled up. It's either running really late or really early. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, it's a 108. It's a route that needs little introduction these days, because it has recently gone to these electric buses from Citaros, which were universally loved. So everyone knows the 108. But if you don't, the 108 runs from Stratford International to Lewisham, and it's a staple of the London bus network. It's been around for decades and decades and decades, in some form or another. In its first form, I believe, pretty much as soon as the Blackwall Tunnel opened, they put it in, and it ran from Poplar to Crystal Palace. And then, you know, over time the route changed, and now it runs from Stratford International to Lewisham via Stratford Broadway, Bow, Poplar, the Blackwall Tunnel, North Greenwich, Westcombe Park, and Blackheath. I went all the way down to Lewisham this morning. And we have a very sprightly driver, which is, you know,
London Aquatics Centre.
very fun, given that these buses can keep up with that. They are electric, they are very fast. I am bracing myself on the seat in front. The 108 is always a good ride. It was a good ride with the Citaros, it's a good ride with these. And it's such a useful bus route. It's still the only route with the Blackwall Tunnel. And until the Silvertown Tunnel opened a few days ago, it was the easternmost cross-river bus service in London. Like, you go further east, you're not crossing the river until you hit Dartford. Like, that's just how it was, at least not on a bus. Silvertown Tunnel, I mean, on the southern end it pops out in basically the same spot, but, you know, it's the 108. What more introduction does this route need? It's the 108, it's an absolute staple. It's very bouncy. I'm going to go get some B-roll from the very back of the C9UR. And as SEE24 leaves me and I get past by 11.310 on a 136, well, that is kind of it for the first episode of By Night. It's about 5:30 in the morning now. I'm gonna go scout out some breakfast and then get on with filming another little something from involving the Silvertown Tunnel, which will go into my new I have something interesting to show you slot, which is Tuesdays at 6 PM. I don't know where I'm going. I've definitely gone the wrong way. I get so turned around in Lewisham. There we go, going the right way now. So, right. So yeah, that was By Night. Let me know what you guys think of the idea, because I had a great fun. As I said at the start, I do love going on night bashes, and what a good excuse to go on more. Ooh, there's a is that a 707 up there? I think that's a 707 up there. Yes, it is. Very nice. So yes, I'm gonna go get some food, and then I'm gonna go to the 129, the new 129 that goes way further. I think they more than doubled the length of it. Oh, there's a 465 coming in over there. You can't see it, but there's a 465 over there. You can probably hear it. But yes, I will see you next week from By Night. On Monday from City Bus Manager on the South Coast, and on Tuesday from what I'm about to record. So I will see you then. Bye bye.